I think there's a pattern here that needs to be discussed. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the mass shooting that took place at a high school in Perry, Iowa, in which a sixth grader lost their life. 4 other students were injured, and the principal was injured. Now, the shooter, 17-year-old Daniel Butler, put the gun on himself and took his own life right there on the scene. Now, before I go any further into it, may the sixth grader rest in peace, and prayers out to their family. And hopefully all of the injured are able to have a speedy recovery and get right back to living their life as normal. Now, the shooter has a few things that you may already know. You may already guess some things about this person because there have been patterns and incidents like this over the past few days, weeks, months, years. Now, we're going to get straight into it. I'm not going to waste too much time. This is allegedly the shooter's TikTok account. Now, of course, if you try to go there right now, it'll probably be gone. If he's on Instagram, Twitter, or whatever, that'll probably be gone as well. But you see one red flag right here. Now, I'm not trying to say everyone from this community will go out and do things like this, but we're seeing it quite a bit. We saw it in Nashville, the Covenant school shooting. We've seen it just in general with people having really serious mental issues. And one of the most prolific mass shootings of all time was Pulse nightclub, okay, where a guy was battling some internal demons, apparently, okay? So that's one thing right there. This is him right here on the bottom left. This video over here on the right, I'm not going to play it. It's pretty graphic, although it's not really. Basically, what he was doing was acting out what a mass shooting could be. You know, obviously a deranged person. This is the guy right there, 17-year-old Daniel Butler. Now, some are going to try to say gun control, that's the answer. It's the guns, it's the guns, it's the guns. Well, he's 17 years old. He had a handgun and a pump action shotgun. So a few things before we get to the news clip and some more information about him. You can't own those guns at age 17 in Iowa legally. And there's no AR-15. There's no long rifle, short rifle, whatever. You got a regular handgun and a pump action shotgun, and you were able to go to a school and do all this. And again, you cannot own these guns legally. So we're talking about a criminal doing criminal things. How do you prevent criminals from carrying out criminal actions? Okay, shooting innocent people, that's illegal. Taking their life, that's illegal. Procuring these weapons at age 17, that's illegal. So what do you really do? I think the bigger issue is some of the mental state of these people that is very well known, and there's nothing really done about that. Now, let's get to the news clip. If you want to see the clip in full, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
A sixth grader was killed and 5 other people were wounded by a student who opened fire inside of a small Iowa high school in Perry.
Fox's Caroline Shively has new details tonight.
The small town of Perry, Iowa is in mourning after a student walked into his school and shot 6 people before classes started Thursday morning, killing a 6th grader. Police did not name a motive for the shooting, but the boy's friends say he and his younger sister had been bullied.
I've been going to that school my entire life, and those kids would do horrible things to him.
He got tired of the harassment. Was it a smart idea to shoot up the school? No. God, no. And I am mad at him for that. Lord knows I am mad at him for that.
4 of the injured are students, and the 5th is the school's principal. Police say the shooter was armed with a pump-action shotgun and a small-caliber handgun. When they searched the building, authorities found the suspect dead from a gunshot wound. They also found an improvised explosive device.
I forgot about that part. So he had an explosive on him as well. And the picture I showed you in the beginning of him in the bathroom, he was in the school's bathroom early that morning. I think that was the day where he went and carried this whole thing out.
The state fire marshal and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms rendered the device safe.
Police say the shooter had posted videos on social media in and around the time of the attack, but would not give specifics, noting they're still gathering evidence. White House officials report President Biden was tracking the shooting and federal officials are helping support the investigation. They also said it was another call to action for Congress.
Congress must act to enact universal background checks.
What are we talking about background checks? Corinne Jean-Pierre, can we do just a tad bit of investigation? Look, I'm just one guy in my house, right? This room I'm talking in right now is my spare bedroom in my house, okay? So if I am able to just do a simple Google search and see that he was 17 years old and it's not legal for him to own a pump action shotgun or the handgun he had, and I'm sure it's not legal to have an IED regardless of how old you are, okay, you're talking about things you find on the side of the road in Iraq that is creating wounded warriors, okay? So just do a little bit of research, a little bit of digging before we just go out there with these talking points. And the bad thing is that normies, people that really don't know any better, people that don't know anything about guns or politics or whatever, they'll just take what she says on face value and say, oh, we need more background checks, all this, that, and the third. For a person who was not supposed to have guns, he had the guns illegally. What are we talking about? This is silly.
Ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
High-capacity magazines on the shotgun and a small-caliber handgun. The small-caliber handgun was pretty important because my question would be, what kind of handgun was it? A little 22? So is that a high-caliber weapon? Is that something that needs to be restricted? You're talking about a thing that's almost equivalent to a BB gun. Not quite. I'm being a little bit facetious, but you understand what I'm saying. It's not really going to do a lot of damage. But a pump-action shotgun will do quite a bit of damage, right? That's not a high caliber weapon. That's not an automatic weapon at all. That's not even semi-automatic. You probably had to load that with the shells. So what are we really saying here? You just have a pre-prepared statement whenever there's a mass shooting that meets the criteria of what is important. Because there's always mass shootings in the country, in a lot of these ghetto areas, black, brown, whatever areas. There's always mass shootings, but it only matters when it happens to a school or some kind of big gathering, public event, a country music concert, something like that. Okay. And then you just roll out these prepared statements to just pacify those who want you to say it. It's really ridiculous.
Require safe storage of firearms and the gun industry's immunity from liability, and pass a national
hold on.
red flag law.
Liability. Why would a gun manufacturer be liable if I get behind the wheel of a car drunk and then I run into a crowd of people? Is it Ford, Toyota? Is it their fault that I did that, or is it my fault? Okay, a gun is a tool. A gun is a tool to use, and if I use it improperly, is it the tool manufacturer's fault or is it my fault? Okay, you use a knife to cut things. I got a cutlery set in my kitchen. I use it to cut food, to cut things. Okay, I got a pair of scissors. I use it to cut stuff. Open up boxes. I got a pocket knife. Open up boxes, whatever I'm doing with it. Now, if I take that tool, if I take that instrument and then I go hurt somebody, is it the fault of the people that made the tool? Is it their fault that I use it improperly? No, it's not. So this is just really ridiculous. Again, prayers out to the sixth grader. I don't know the identity of the person. That's why I'm not saying a specific gender. I don't know who the young person was, but may they rest in peace. Prayers out to their family, and hopefully everyone who was injured is able to get well soon. But as I close, I want to say this. Obviously, there's some issues with certain people. Okay, you got the LGBTs. At a certain point, if you're not really knowing whether you're male or female, I saw something on the social media of this person talking about protect trans kids. I might even be able to have it right here. It's saying, oh, okay, we got to protect trans kids, all this kind of stuff. I don't have it right here, but I saw it. These kind of things are the reason why people do acts. Why this is part of the reason why people do things that don't make any sense, because they're not all the way right mentally. I think that's the bigger issue. We're talking about guns and trying to hold the gun manufacturers liable for things people do with guns that they shouldn't be doing. I think the bigger focus should be on getting people better mentally prepared for the world. All right, because we've always had guns in this country. We've always had guns near schools. We always had guns near young people, everything. I had a gun when I was a kid, not a real gun, but a BB gun. Looks like a regular 9mm handgun, semi-automatic. I never went out and waved it around. I never thought about going and try to hurt somebody with it. Okay, but you got to get down to the core of some societal issues rather than trying to attack things that have always been here in society. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's happening here? The patterns. We got LGBT. We got mental health. We got, okay, somebody's being bullied in school. They're kind of feeling like an outcast. There's all these patterns that's going on. Okay. Now, can we just identify some problems and solutions and solve them that way? Or do we just say, well, let's blame the tool. Let's blame this inanimate object. Okay, here's a phone. Now, what can the phone do if not for me using it for a particular purpose? I have to do something with the tool to make the tool become dangerous. It's simple. But hey, I guess it's easy just to pass the buck, refuse to address the core of the problem, and blame something else that's not really the problem for political purposes. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.